Whenever I talk to independent podcasters about the part of podcasting that they enjoy the least, or that takes them the most time, or makes them feel like they want to quit, or they just don't love it all, there's always one thing that stands out as the number one response I get. It's editing. Editing. Podcasters, the independent podcasters like myself that are either doing solo episodes or a mix of solo and interviews or just interviews, all of us are like, man, editing is that thing, right? It's the bane of our existence in many ways. But I want to talk to you today about how that doesn't have to be your reality and how you can actually create a better show by editing less. Hey, my name is Alex Sanfilippo, and I'm really excited to share this with you today because I have learned this since I started podcasting in 2012, back then being a person who edited for hours each episode. And I won't tell you how many hours because I'm embarrassed, so I'll just say hours. We'll leave it at that today. But I'll tell you how I went from that to being the person that has reclaimed my time as an independent podcaster. And here I am many years later enjoying every part of the process because I realized the thing that all of us say is the most time-consuming, most difficult, least fun part of the process isn't really required at the level that we think. And so I want to break that down today. And to do that, I actually want to tell a story. I've always enjoyed the opportunity to meet a listener. And I had this one opportunity to meet a listener just randomly. And it's like, hey, I'll listen to your podcast. And I'm like, no way. Like it's such a cool thing. I'm like, what's an episode that you really enjoyed? And this person made me go into like instant shock. They brought up an episode that I almost didn't publish because I was so ashamed of the quality of it. And it was a combination of things. Like the internet was acting up that day. The editing tool, or sorry, the recording studio we were using, like the virtual one, like for some reason it didn't connect. There was like lag. And my guest was brilliant. They didn't have great gear. But also when we started talking about the topic, I realized I didn't know it as well as I thought I should have. So I kind of fumbled over my words a little bit and stuff like that. Anyway, when this listener I met brought it up that episode, I was like, excuse me, right? They wanted to tell me it was one of their favorite episodes and why it was so impactful. And I'll come back to the story because I want to share that with you because I pushed back a little bit and they said some things that like changed the way that I edit my podcast. And so I will come back to that story, but I actually want to share first what I learned. I learned there's 3 phases of editing. They didn't go out and tell this to me, by the way. Like what they said is what made me do some internal reflecting to learn these things, right? But there's 3 phases of editing. There's before recording, there's during recording, and there's after recording. Most of us think editing is strictly after recording, but the reality is it starts before you ever even hit the recording studio, whether it be in person or virtual. And so that's what I want to talk about today is these 3 different phases of being a great editor for your podcast. And so I'm going to start with before recording. The very first thing I want to challenge you to do is to get better gear. If you're using just built-in gear and you feel like you've always got sound issues, or maybe you're using earbuds that have like a microphone on them, it's always hitting your shirt, that stuff requires you to do a lot more work. Like it's really actually hurting you. And you're like, well, I can't really make the financial investment. Well, how much is your time worth is what I want to challenge you with. And you don't have to spend thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars like some audio and video engineers would tell you. There's actually some really affordable stuff that can work really well for you. There's a website, it's podcastingstack.com, podcastingstack.com. Go to that website. That gear is all really affordable and will make you really stand out and save you so much time on the back end, right? When we get into after recording, just by having the right gear up front. Now, beyond the gear itself, the next thing I want to talk about here is the amount of work that you put into planning your episode is going to determine how much editing you have to do as well. If you just are like, I'm going to wing it, I'm going to hit record and then we'll figure it out later, you are going to make a headache for yourself. You've got to know your topic. You've got to know your guest topic and who they are. And if they have a book, read their book if you're going to talk about it, right? You've got to also make sure that you understand where you want the conversation to go. What's the main topic? And you also want to skip the intro and outro. Sometimes like we think that that's the part like, okay, I'm going to spend a lot of time doing my research and get the intro and outro right. Please don't. The best podcast in the world right now, they just weave that into the content. Think about it as a friend. So if you're interviewing somebody, instead of being like, hey, this is Alex Sanfilippo, founder of PodMatch.com. He got his start and then going on, right? On to all the things that I've achieved. Instead, just be like, hey, Alex Sanfilippo, founder of PodMatch, here with us today. Really excited to talk about your journey as an entrepreneur. That is enough to hook a listener and to make it feel like, okay, there might be something here. Beyond that, now this is really important. You want to make sure that you've scripted out your episode or bullet pointed out in a narrative approach. Notice today, I didn't say we're going to talk about the 3 phases of editing. It's before recording, after recording, and during recording. Like that order's out of mix, right? Like we don't want to do that. You want it to flow naturally. When I go on podcasts, it blows my mind how many times I go on a show and someone starts off with my former career and then what I did when I was a kid and then what I do now, and then what I did during high school, and what I want to do next, and what's something I learned along the way. Like that ping pong's everywhere. Think narrative approach, work the intro and the outro into it so you don't have to actually do any recording afterwards. Because I think that's a huge mistake. When you're done recording the episode, like by yourself with your guest, and going back and then doing a separate intro and outro, that's bad form now. I'm telling you, the best podcasters in the world don't do that anymore because we realize it's just got to follow a narrative, start to finish. I'll work all that stuff in because I know my topic. I know where I'm going. So I'll just work it in. That is the best way for you to do it. And this all happens before recording by really knowing the direction, understanding I'm taking this narrative approach along the way. Next phase here, phase 2, is while recording. I need you to commit to something right now. This is going to be super tough, but this is absolutely key to getting editing right. Repeat this after me. I will not let editing take longer than 50% of the time that the actual recording took. I will not let the editing process take up to 50% of the time that the recording itself took. What I mean by this is, if you have an hour recording, you should only give yourself 30 minutes to edit. If you have a 30-minute recording, you should only allow yourself to edit for 15 minutes. If it's 10 minutes, it's 5, so on and so forth. Set a timer. Have a countdown on your phone going. That is all that you are allowed to do. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, now, Alex, that sounds great, but my episode was an hour. I got to listen to the whole thing. No, you don't. And I'll get into why you don't. But really, if you're listening to an entire episode to do the editing process, you're editing wrong. I'm just telling you the hard truth. The reality is it should never take more than half the time of the episode. And if you're listening to the whole episode during the editing process, you are not doing it right. You've got to know along the way. And I'll tell you exactly how to do that now. This is my next point before we move on to the after recording phase. Whenever you make a mistake, or there's something that you know it might be out of place, or just that you want to go back and check after the recording, what I want you to do is I want you to press the screenshot button. Many keyboards have it, or if not, it's on your computer somewhere. Some of the recording apps even have a way you can just push a button and it'll put a timestamp there so that you can go back and say, okay, this is where something was wrong. That's where I can go back and make an edit. So now you've like, okay, I just finished a 30-minute recording. I've got 6 of those points. Now you know those are the 6 time points, because the time is in that screenshot where I need to go back and edit. I don't need to listen to it. It's not going to take me, too much time. And I've got 50% of the time. I got 7 of them. It was an hour episode. I've got 30 minutes total to do it, so I can only spend X amount of time on each of them, right? I can spend just over 4 minutes on each of these things. So now you know how quick you need to be. You got to think about editing this way. I'm telling you, this is the key to making editing not feel like a burden anymore. And that this transitions us straight into the after recording phase. You have to edit your podcast immediately upon recording. Do not wait. This takes a ton of self-discipline. I'm asking you to do something really tough. Don't use the restroom. Don't go get water. Don't get yourself a breather. Straight into it. If your guest was there, thank you for coming by. Straight into editing. If it's just you, straight into editing. Get it knocked out. Again, what is it? Maybe going to take you, let's imagine you're doing 30-minute episodes. It's going to take you 15 minutes. You can hold it, right? And you've got to do it right away. It's fresh on your mind, and you're never going to do as good of a job later. You need to do it immediately while everything's fresh. When you're looking at those timestamps, you need to edit from back to front, not front to back, because as timestamps change. If you edit the first one, you cut out, like let's say 30 seconds, none of the other timestamps line up. You go back to front. So you start at the end and you work your way back with your edits. Again, you don't need to listen to the whole thing. So it's pretty easy for you to do it either way. It doesn't really make a difference. You're just making those tweaks along the way. You want to use one tool to edit audio and video. If you're just audio, fine. But if you're audio and video, do not use 2 separate tools. You edit one time and they need to be exactly the same. So just make it simple. Whatever that tool is, just use it and edit it all one time the same way. You cannot try to be perfect with this. We have to avoid perfection. Again, we're editing for narrative. We did that before we started, right? That was phase 1, talking about this idea of narrative. You're not editing for perfection. You're editing for narrative flow. You want it to flow well. Okay, there was this. I'm going to pull that piece out. It doesn't make any sense. I took the timestamp here, right? Then just get it knocked out. Just do it that way as fast as you can without letting your brain tell you this needs to be better, it needs to be perfect. It doesn't need to be. It needs to have a really good narrative that flows along the way. People don't mind hiccups along the way. Listeners, they don't mind the hiccups along the way. Instead of perfection, make it human. If people want to be perfect, they'll go listen to AI do a podcast, right? Like you're going for, once again, like that story flow versus perfection versus the hiccups and trying to edit every little thing out. If you don't speak super clearly, that's fine. I've stumbled over my words a couple times in this. I have not hit the screenshot button even once yet. Because, I'm like, this is fine. This is human. This is how we talk, right? This brings me back to my story. That listener that heard the episode that I was so ashamed of and said they liked it. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? And so they start telling me what they like about it. And I'm just looking for any second I can to interject, to stop them. And finally get a time, I'm like, yeah, the quality of the episode was like real bad. They had like a microphone that wasn't working and the internet wasn't good. And they're like, well, I didn't notice that, but something that stood out to me in that episode. And they continued going. I again, waited for my time. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I really stumbled over my words a lot. I didn't really know the topic well. And they're like, oh, well, I thought you asked really good questions. And what I really liked about how they answered them, and they just went on again. And at the end of it, I was finally like, okay, I got nothing left to like talk bad about my own content. You really truly enjoyed it and had some real takeaways that helped change your life. And then we parted ways. And I left that being like, you know what? I'm making a huge mistake. I am wasting all this time editing for myself, not for my listeners. I am doing all this strictly for myself. I am being completely selfish by doing this. Nobody else cares. Now, don't get me wrong, they care about my podcast, they care about my episodes, but they're looking for that narrative. They're looking for that thing that can change, that can bring transformation to their lives. They don't care like, oh man, Alex said 3 times during the episode. I can't believe it, right? But all of us, we're like, oh, people are going to notice it. The reality is it's not true. We are our own worst critics. No one looks at it the way you do. The best thing I can give you advice to do here is just keep it as simple as you possibly can. Cut out your intros and outros. Don't edit the whole episode. Just go back to your timestamps. Keep it simple. Make sure that you're spending a lot of time up front. You're doing your due diligence after in just those few minutes that you have. And I'm telling you, your episodes will take you way less time to edit. And I actually think your listeners are going to like them even better. And at the end of the day, isn't that what it's about? We do this for the listeners, not for ourselves. We do it so that we can serve people at the highest level. They're not looking for perfection. They're looking for us to continue to help them every time an episode's released. So keep your mindset right. Make it about other people, not about yourself. And I'm telling you, you're going to create a better podcast. And hopefully you're going to reclaim hours of your time every single week like I did and have a better product at the end of the day. So I hope this was really encouraging today. Again, my name is Alex Sanfilippo, and I really appreciate you spending this time with me.